I did go through bankruptcy, I think a $13 million bankruptcy filing. I went from flying private to being the guy with a $100,000 car in the driveway looking for loose change to put gas in my car. I remember I was in my car in the shopping center parking lot and just thinking, how am I going to get out of this? I was going to lose my family or take my own life. I mean, I didn't know.
How long was that recovery stage?
There was about an 18-month period from realize I'm going to have to file bankruptcy and when I was able to figure it out and climb out of bankruptcy and eventually acquire the property.
It's a blessing.
Our goal is to deliver excellent events no one will ever forget. And when you're working and you know what you got to get done, if you're not sure what to do, ask yourself or ask a friend, is this going to help us deliver an excellent event that no one will ever forget? And if the answer is yes, I'll support you. I'll back you every time.
Welcome to High-End Homes Handled Right. This is the Real Property Management Luxury Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Lyndel Johnson. Today, we've got a special guest. We have Mr. Roger Igo. He is an entrepreneur. He's the owner of the Bell Tower on the 34th, which is a premier and award-winning wedding and event venue in Houston, Texas. They have a 4.7 rating on Google with over 1,000 reviewers. Now, if you want an event that's grand, intimate, indoor, or outdoor, they can do it all. They can do it all. So today's episode is dear to my heart, and you will enjoy it as much as I will. Once again, welcome to High-End Homes Handled Right. This is the Real Property Management Luxury Podcast. How you doing?
Super. How are you doing?
It's a busy day today, but nothing is as important today as getting to talk to you. You know, I found out I would have the opportunity to interview you today, so I did some research on the Bell Tower on the 34th, and it is incredible.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Thank you.
How long have you been in business?
So we've been in business for 15 plus years, 2009, May, June 2009. So if you're watching this today, it's been about 15 plus years. But if you're watching this 10 years from now, it's been 25 years.
So let's bring this back a little bit. So before you opened, what did you do? And what led you to this? Yeah,
so I was doing real estate development. I'm a real estate broker. Before that, I mean, if you go in like reverse order, this is my 34th job. So CEO of the Bell Tower is my 34th job. But I was in home building. I was a superintendent, project manager. I started getting into house flipping. I was doing some light commercial and eventually built what is today the Bell Tower on 34th.
Incredible. So are you from Texas?
I was born in California, but as a small child I was brought to Texas and grew up in a little small town between Houston and Sugar Land, Texas, called Stafford, Texas, and that's where I grew up.
Got it. So as you were growing up in Texas, was there just was there someone that was doing real estate and you said, you know what, I want to do real estate. This is what I want to do in my life. Or did you just fall into this?
Really, I was working as a superintendent, and I noticed after working for 6 or 9 months on this house, outside in the elements, porta potties, I just noticed that beautiful lady just drove up in a giant BMW, and she's been coming around for about 2 weeks and sold the house. And I know like real estate agents make 3% or 5-6%, whatever, and I'm like, she just made in 2 weeks, and I didn't know. I mean,
right.
Really, what all goes into that? But she just made in 2 weeks what I think took me 6 months or all year to make. So I decided I'm getting my real estate license, which I did, and then I found out about splitting with the broker. So I said that's weird. So I got my broker's license, and so that's how I got into real estate. And I should say, My wife is a realtor. My daughter is a realtor. My sister-in-law is a realtor. My other sister-in-law is a realtor. Two brother-in-laws that are realtors. My father-in-law is a broker. So everybody's in real estate. So
it's interesting that we're having this conversation now, because last week there was an article that came out that said that over 40% of real estate agents have left the industry. Over 40% across the country have left. And I think you are a testament that if you stick with it and you keep pushing through, you could be successful. Because I'm sure you've had some rough years.
Oh yeah.
And some great years.
Oh yeah.
What are some of the roughest years that you've had to overcome?
Oh, well, I did go through bankruptcy. That was a big year. It was, I think, a $13 million bankruptcy filing. And, I went from flying private to being the guy with a $100,000 car in the driveway, looking for loose change to put gas in my car. Looking for loose change in the sofa and the junk drawer to put gas in my car.
Now,
so,
were you married with kids at this time?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So how do you get through that? Is it the relationship with the family, your family? Is it friends, or is it just yourself? Drive to get through it?
Oh no, it was during the period where I had built what is now the bell tower for a guy, and he didn't pay me, and so I, being a young stupid builder, just everything was on personal guarantee. So suddenly I found myself in deep debt because I owed a bunch of subcontractors, and I owed a bunch of people that had been working for me building this project for my client, who wound up going under himself, which domino effect triggered a personal bankruptcy for me. So, I remember I was in my car in the shopping center parking lot, and just thinking, how am I going to get out of this? I was going to lose my family or take my own life. I didn't know. And I called my friend, and he kind of talked me off the ledge, if you will. And he said, Roger, you've been doing real estate, you've been doing construction, you've been doing, you know the answer, this, you're going to do it. You're going to figure it out. And so I did figure it out, and it went from zero to hero pretty quick. But it went down very fast, but then I was able to climb out of it. So
how long was that recovery stage?
Oh, it was there was about an 18-month period from realize I'm going to have to file bankruptcy, and when I was able to figure it out and climb out of bankruptcy and eventually acquire the property. So,
that's a blessing.
Oh yeah,
that's a blessing, and because there are a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs right now, that are dealing with that same thing right now, and are just don't know what to do. Hey, I have to pay payroll. Where is this going to come from? And especially, like I said, in this real estate industry, there are people just couldn't sell homes. Interest rates are so high. And, a lot of agents now have that hope of, I think right now it went down 0.5% right now, interest rates.
Yeah, yesterday, I think. Or today.
Two days ago, about 2 days ago. And I don't know if that's going to move the needle much. But people are doing other side jobs because of this. But I think it's very impressive of what you've done. Let's talk about this incredible venue that you've had. Like, I've seen the pictures. I've seen a picture of a car inside of the venue. I saw outdoor pictures. I saw indoor. It's like real, like the definition of luxury in Houston. Impressive.
Thank you.
How did you come up with this idea? How did this come about?
Well, it wasn't my idea. I didn't design it. I did have some say in the look and feel of what it is today, but So I built it for a guy that didn't make it, who had set out to do this event venue, purpose built for events. And it was just a matter of, I think, figuring out who is our ideal client and going after the ideal client, who happens to be people with a lot of money. And we want to do epic events for wealthy people and corporations, whether it's be a wedding or a company holiday party. We want clientele that are kind of mid to upper level. And so because we go after that clientele, those are the kinds of parties that we're able to produce inside of our venue.
How many employees do you have?
We have about 80 employees all in.
So if you have 80 employees and you provide such great service, how, as a leader, do you keep everybody on that same level, making sure that they are providing the service that you expect?
So I love that question. So we believe in self-directed teams.
Okay.
And the North Star that we all abide by in our daily routines, no matter the responsibility in the company. But at the end of the day, and I tell the employees in the meetings all the time, if you ever need to make a decision and your supervisor, your manager's not there, ask yourself, is this in alignment with the goal? And by the way, at the company meetings, we all take the Bell Tower Pledge, which is you raise your hand and you say, our goal is to deliver excellent events no one will ever forget.
I love that.
And so everyone takes the Bell Tower Pledge, and when you're working and you know what you got to get done,
right.
If you're not sure what to do, ask yourself or ask a friend, is this going to help us deliver an excellent event that no one will ever forget? And if the answer is yes, I'll support you. I'll back you every time, even if it's breaking the rules. But if you can't say that, then I can't support you. In other words,
a waste of time because it's outside of.
Yeah, I mean, why were you out in the parking lot smoking? Deliver an excellent event? No, I don't think so. So, so that's what that's kind of one of the mantras that we use when running and managing 80 employees.
I love that.
Yeah.
In the intro, I talked about, just the Google reviews and over 1,000, and that is very difficult to do. And that really just shows the quality, of an event that you guys put on. Also saw that you have your in-house chef. It is world class.
It is. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, and I think that you hit this out of the park, right? You've hit a home run. So what's next for you? What's the next chapter?
Yeah, good question. So I really love business. I love talking about business. I love figuring out business. I like startups. I like turnarounds. I love business, but I also like I like events. And what I like about it is, events bring people together. They create everlasting connections. Events create memories. Events can challenge. Events can inspire. But what I really like is the fact that, events can change the course of history. And I want to stay in the events field. It doesn't have to be a huge event. It can be a small event, yet still epic and memorable. And so you never know. I might turn up doing something else, but I think I'll still have something to do with events or hosting events just because I love it.
If I was to give you a wand and I said, okay, you can go back in time, any time of your life, you can change something, would you? And if you wouldn't, that's perfect. But if you would, what would you change and why?
Yeah, I wouldn't change anything. It's been a lot of trials and tribulations, but that's when you're learning.
Right.
You're learning, and so, I think of destiny, and you're really only able to connect the dots in reverse order. So yeah, the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, that was his deal. Is you look back in your life and you realize if that hadn't happened and that hadn't happened and that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so I look at adversity and challenge, and I look at learning opportunities, if you want to call them those, as growth, and it's all getting me to where, what God has in store for us, which is destiny. That's God's plan, and you can't really control that.
That's probably the best answer that I've received.
I believe it.
Without a doubt. That's
everybody
the best
should
answer.
think that way, I think. I mean, it's,
I think a lot of times, we harp on the missteps, or we harp on, maybe I should have gone to another school, or maybe I should have gone into another industry. But if you've become a success at what you're at right now, there's a reason you're there. And also, I think you have a lot to teach. You have a lot of just that knowledge, and you've shown the strength and your ability to push on and to be a success. And whoever's watching this podcast, I would recommend listening to it in your car. Go home, listen to it again, and when you're going through those tough times and you don't think you can push through, and maybe you don't have that support system to help push you through, just think that there's another person that was able to make it and to become an incredible successful person by pushing through. Usually we talk about real estate today, sort of real estate-ish, but I think this was really more important than that. Just knowing that, there's a lot of agents out there right now that have left the industry, want nothing to do with real estate, and there's always room for success. Once again, this is Lyndel Johnson. This is High-End Homes Handled Right. This is the Real Property Magic Luxury Podcast. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. I appreciate you.